And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good morning, friends and traders. Welcome to the market forecast for Tuesday, August 9th. I am JD. I'll be your host again today. Our good friend and mentor, Mr. Hoagland, is still out taking some personal time to be with his family right now. So let's keep the Hoagland family in our thoughts one more time today. As always, thank you for choosing to spend your time with us this morning. Hopefully we can all walk away from this with a little more knowledge and understanding than we had before we started. Again, don't be afraid to hit that lucky like button. Feel free to share your comments and feedback in the chat, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get all of those lovely updates every time we go live. Just checking my notes here, sorry. Unfortunately, for today, we will be canceling today's Make Hoag Money session, which was scheduled to start right after the forecast this morning. My apologies again to anyone who was looking forward to it. But it will return when Hoag is back with us. He is trading in a live account now, and we're also going to start streaming it live to YouTube. So we're looking forward to that and to seeing what kind of engagement it gets. With that, let's see what's happening this morning. So earlier today, the Small Business Optimism Index was released its monthly report. The consensus range was from 88 to 91.5, and the actual came in right in the middle at 89.9. According to Econoday, the Small Business Optimism Index fell to a 9-year low in June and showed sweeping declines across components. We also had productivity and costs come out not too long ago at 7:30 Central Time. Also, according to Econoday, non-farm productivity fell at a rate of 4.6% annualized in the second quarter, versus 7.3% contraction in the first quarter. And unit labor costs, which soared 12.6% in the first quarter, rose at a rate of 10.8% in the second quarter. Overnight, in Asia, stocks closed mixed overnight, with the Shanghai Composite up 0.32%, the Nikkei down 0.88%, and the Hang Seng Index down 0.21%. In Europe, stocks are trading looks mostly lower this morning. The FTSE's down marginally, 0.01%. The DAX is down 1.24%, and the CAC is down 0.37%. And here in the U.S., stocks are poised to open regular trading hours mostly lower this morning. VIX is currently up 4.5% to 2210, and the yield on the 10-year note is presently resting at 2.8%. With that, let's take a look and see who is in the room this morning. Good morning, everyone. Shaw, Frederico, James, Denise, Charles, Patrick, Dan Trader, Theodora, Marcelo, Tachion, Mango Heist, Bill Phillips, Chillin' with Dylan, Serenity, James Swan, Dark Kevin, Terrence King, Jan R., Rusty Golfer, Jerry is awake, Jack Hudkins. Good morning, everyone. Morning. Hoag is doing fine. I mentioned yesterday briefly, I have not yet spoken to him, but the word I received is that his mother is in poor health at the moment, and he's with her right now. That's the extent of my knowledge of it. If I get an update today, I'll share it with you on the recap, with Hoag's permission, of course. So I'll reach out to him today and see if I get a response, but I know he's with family right now, so I really don't want to bother him. But maybe I'll have an update for you later also. So with that, I will tee up some charts. Make Hoag Money will be canceled today in Hoag's absence. Like I said, that will return when Hoag returns. If we can figure out a way for me to get access to the account and all of the Zoom streaming and whatnot, maybe we could figure something out for later in the week, but today is definitely canceled. and I would expect group coaching to be canceled tomorrow also, but that's tentative, and I'll get back to you on that later today in the market recap. So with that, I'm going to tee up some charts, and we will get into it. So let's get started with our daily in the S&P. So if you were around yesterday, what happened was after gapping open to start regular trading hours, the ES took out last week's highs at 41.73 quarter, right on the 8:30 Central Time open. Tested the weekly kickoff high here at 41.75. Printed a high at 41.88, then turned around and made a run for the overnight Globex lows. That was the gist of yesterday's trading session. It was a bit of a whipsaw. Volume was light with about 1.5 million contracts traded, and the September contract lost a little more than 20,000 in open interest. So I outlined this little range here in orange here. This is the range that the ES has kind of been stuck in for the last week and a half. Before yesterday, the ES had been held to less than a 100 handle range over the previous 6 trading sessions. Yesterday, that range was extended by about 15 handles, so not much of a range extension, but an extension nonetheless. This market is moving sideways right now, and it's looking for direction. Let's take a peek at the 4-hour chart. So here's a better look at it on the 4-hour. See if I could just widen that out a bit. Again, yesterday, market went straight up overnight, straight down during the day session, tested weekly kickoff high, dropped right through these short-term moving averages to close near the lower end of the range. Then overnight, a little more consolidation, sideways movement, and then just recently, we started dropping, taking out yesterday's lows. We'll get a clearer picture of that on our 30-minute here. Just even that out. So again, yesterday, this opening bar on the 30-minute probably gave a lot of people a false sense of security. It really turned into a classic head fake. I imagine a lot of traders got trapped long at the top, then probably tried to buy the dip on the way back down. So this morning, there wasn't much of an overnight inventory. The ES was held to just a 15-handle range for most of the Globex session, and it spent most of the time trading inside yesterday's value area, just above yesterday's point of control. Recently, it dipped below yesterday's point of control here at 41.40, which is right around settlement also. Right now, it's making a run at the lows. It breached the lows, and now it's trading back inside yesterday's value. Possibly poised to set up a small gap lower to open regular trading hours. If that does happen, if we see another small gap lower, if we see a small gap lower on the open, we might possibly see a similar scenario play out as yesterday, just kind of reversed. Small gap lower to open the session, maybe test the 10-day moving average, which I'll show you right here, which we're not too far from. Right around last Friday's low is also the 10-day moving average. Maybe run some stops, then bounce back to settle inside a value from yesterday. I think yesterday's settlement at 41.75 could be a decent line in the sand today. And 41.70 was also previous area congestion that I would expect to see sellers defend if we do happen to get up there again today. The drop in volume and open interest the last couple days could be signaling a possible shift in momentum. You see this slow stochastic oscillator still hovering above the 80 zone, so you can't actually call a shift in momentum just yet. We'll need to break out of this range to really make that call, I think. And with volume as light as it is right now, the potential for a false breakout or something of that type, some other type of head fake, kind of like what we saw yesterday, is also possible today. Let's take a look at crude oil now. So yesterday, crude oil had a nice grind higher yesterday, but it was an inside day, like I said in the recap. That is up until the last hour of trading when it finally took out last Friday's high and settled the day at 90.76, just about 10 or so ticks below Friday from the high of the day. Volume did dip again with about 340,000 contracts traded compared to 350,000 last Friday, and the September contract lost close to 26,000 in open interest on yesterday's rally. Overnight, we're seeing some follow through, and prices look poised to test this 10-day moving average right here, the green line. Green is a 10-day moving average, or 10 period. Blue is 20, red is 50, and this black line is a VWAP. Looking at these last three candles and the corresponding volume bars down here, you see you've got three consecutive positive closes with three consecutive descending volume bars. Combine that with three consecutive days of negative open interest, and I'd say this little rally is getting tired, and this is a potential bear flag setting up. Let's take a zoom in on the 4-hour chart here. So this blue line, the 20 period moving average, has been sort of the scene for rejection going back to last Monday. Yesterday, prices closed above this line for the first time in August and spent the majority of last night's session trading above it. You can also see this 10 period moving average beginning to converge on the 20 and has nearly crossed over it this morning. There's also a closer look at these descending volume bars going back to the last couple trading sessions. This rally is really lacking in trader participation right now. Let's take a look at the 30-minute. So, yesterday, there was a lot of back and forth here. Let's see if I can widen this out a bit. So you can see we had a lot of back and forth here, right around Friday's value area high, and a big chunk of the day yesterday was spent inside value from Friday. After taking out Friday's high at the end of the day, it did come back to close inside Friday's value. Then we have this nice little head fake overnight. Moved down to test yesterday's value area low. No doubt trapped some shorts. Then this rip higher to open regular trading hours with a gap up to take out this Globex high from last Thursday over here at 91.90. Overall, I want to see how this market reacts. I'm going to switch over to a daily real quick. Overall, I want to see how this market reacts around this 10-day moving average. Acceptance above there will then target the 20-day. Looking at the slow stochastic below, we can see that momentum is trying to make a shift, but like I said, the volume and open interest are kind of telling a different story right now. I think there's opportunity for a low-risk short trade right around this 10-day moving average. But if I do something like that, I'm not going to let it run away from me if the grind higher continues through today's session. That's what I'm looking for in crude oil today. Test that 10-day, maybe put on a low-risk short just to see what happens. Over to the Nasdaq. Here is our daily. So we have nearly the same scenario play out as the ES with just a few variations. So yesterday, the Nasdaq rallied on the 8:30 Central Open to take out the overnight Globex high, but it couldn't quite make its way up to test above the weekly kickoff high at 13,428. After putting in a new high, it broke lower to take out the Globex lows and closed on the lower end of the trading range. This was also a bit of a whipsaw yesterday. Volume was a little light with about 600,000 contracts traded compared to 700,000 on Friday, and the September contract only lost 700 in open interest, far less than the 20,000 ES loss, but I guess that's relative. After closing about 45 points lower yesterday, we're seeing a bit of follow through to the downside this morning here. But similar to the ES, this market is a little range bound right now for the last few sessions, and could even potentially be setting up a small bull flag here. But let's move over to a 4-hour chart. Here you can see yesterday's move a little more clearly. The steady grind higher overnight, then that power flush again after the open, and a little follow through overnight. These two shorter term moving averages here have converged on each other and look poised to cross this morning. But again, this market is looking for direction right now. Here is our 30-minute. Spread this out just a little. So just like the ES again, this opening bar at 8:30 yesterday probably drew in some weak longs, then flushed them right out. Overnight inventory is also same as the ES. NQ was held to about a 70-point range for most of the night and spent the majority of that time trading inside yesterday's value area. Then we get this dip to test yesterday's low, which is kind of where we are right now. Took out yesterday's low and possibly setting up for a small gap lower to open regular trading hours. Again, like the ES, if we do get that little gap lower to open the session, it's possible we see that similar scenario play out. Just reversed. Gap lower to open, test the 10-day moving average, which is right around 13,000. Run a few stops, maybe extend the range by a few points, then settle back inside value from yesterday. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I could see it happening. I think this market is just testing the boundaries of the range right now and is still looking for direction. Also, keeping an eye on this potential bull flag. We'll see what happens there. Over to the gold market. So here is our daily of the December gold contract. And here we are, still right on top of the 50-day moving average. Yesterday, prices never broke out of Friday's range, so it was a bit of an inside day, and volume was significantly lower than we've been seeing. About 103,000 contracts traded, compared with 170,000 traded last Friday. And the December contract only picked up about 630 in open interest during yesterday's rally. Prices did take out yesterday's high at 1806.40 last night, but it was also held to just a $10 range. I should also note that prices are now trading above the 50-day moving average right here, just slightly. On our 4-hour chart, here you could see prices traded above yesterday's high last night and are approaching this high from last Thursday, back here at 1812. Other than that, prices are still tiptoeing along this 10-period moving average here. This trend line is still intact and holding, and we're drifting a little farther away from our weekly kickoff low here at 1775. On our 30-minute. So overnight inventory is a little long. It looks like we started the day with we're starting the day with another small gap higher. That would make 2 days in a row with minor gap opens. Yesterday's gap did come back to fill early on, and we'll likely see the same thing this morning. We'll possibly see the same thing this morning. Prices are currently hovering just above yesterday's high, and a bit of consolidation right here. Again, the next target on the upside is this high from last Thursday at 1812. After that, the next target is, let me switch over to our daily. Next target after 1812 will be the swing low from June 14th at 1826, which is right here, and then weekly kickoff high at 1848. overall, momentum is still pointing higher. Prices are trading above that 50-day moving average. The 10 and 20-day moving averages have, the 10-day moving average has crossed above the 20-day moving average, and they're both converging on the 50-day now. My concern, though, is this lack of volume right now. There aren't a lot of participants in this market right now, which kind of opens the door to those algorithmic trading shenanigans. So I do like being long this market right now, but I hate it when my stops get hunted by predator algos. So choose your entries wisely in this one right now. I'm going to head back over to the chat and see what everybody's saying. We're all thinking of Hogue. Thank you, everyone. I'm sure Hogue appreciates your thoughts and prayers. Okay. Good morning, Sarah. Burn left the Hogues, yep. Okay. Sarah, have a great trading day. I'm going to kick back over and close this out if there's no questions. Never met a stop that I like. I agree with you there, Dan. Predator algos are a thing. Do a quick search and you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay. With that, thanks again for joining me this morning. Let's keep the Hogan family in our thoughts again today. I'll try to reach out to John to see what's happening. I don't expect to hear from him. I know he's busy. So if I don't hear from him, I won't have anything to report later, but I'll see what I can do for you guys. Also filming Coach's Playbook today at 11:30 Central Time. So please join us for that. We'll be talking about... It'll be Jack, Dan, and myself talking about our experiences trading with prop firms. Other than that, have a great trading day, everyone, and I will see you on the Coach's Playbook and later this afternoon for the market recap. Thanks all. Have a great day, everyone.